Chapter 1, The Letter That Changed Everything. Rain hammered the bus window as I stared at the crumpled letter in my hand. One night. Stay until sunrise. Claim your inheritance. I read those words again and whispered, this has to be a joke. The old man beside me glanced over. Talking to yourself never ends well. I forced a weak smile. Maybe you're right. He nodded toward the letter. Bad news? I don't know yet. Then be careful. Sometimes not knowing is worse. His words stayed with me even after he got off at the next stop. I folded the letter and slipped it into my jacket. My hands would not stop shaking. I kept asking myself the same question. Why me? My parents had died years ago. I had no brothers, no sisters, and almost no family left. I worked long hours just to pay rent. Nobody had ever mentioned an uncle who owned a mansion. The bus driver called, last stop. I stepped outside into cold rain. A black car waited beside the empty road. A man wearing a gray suit stood beside it with an umbrella. You must be Daniel, he said. I am. I'm Mr. Hale. He held out his hand. I shook it. You sent the letter? Yes. I have about 100 questions. I'm sure you do. Then answer one. He sighed. Get in the car first. This weather isn't helping either of us. I climbed inside. For several minutes neither of us spoke. Finally I broke the silence. Who was my uncle? His name was Richard Ashcroft. I've never heard that name before. I'm not surprised. So why leave everything to me? I cannot discuss that. You expect me to spend a night in a stranger's house without an explanation. I'm asking you to honor his final request. I laughed without humor. That's not an answer. It's the only one I can give. I looked out the window. The road grew narrower. Trees surrounded us. There were no houses. No lights. Nothing. This place is far from everything. That was intentional. What does that mean? You'll understand soon enough. I hate mysterious answers. I know. You keep acting like you're hiding something. He stayed silent. That worried me more than any answer could have. After another 20 minutes, the car slowed. The mansion appeared through the rain. I forgot how to breathe. The building was enormous. Broken windows stared down like empty eyes. Dark stone walls reached into the gray sky. Dead vines covered almost every inch. This can't be real, I whispered. It is. No one lives here. No one has for many years. Then why does it look like someone opened the front gate? Mr. Hale did not answer. Instead, he parked the car. We're here. Neither of us moved. Finally I asked, are you coming inside? His face turned pale. No. You have to be kidding. I'll return after sunrise. What if something happens? He looked directly into my eyes. Then pray you see morning. A chill ran through my body. That's a terrible joke. I wasn't joking. Before I could speak again, another woman stepped from a small cottage beside the mansion. She carried an old lantern. Mr. Hale pointed toward her. That's Martha. She takes care of the grounds. Martha stopped a few feet away. Her expression never changed. So, she said quietly, you're the last one. I frowned. The last one? She looked toward the mansion instead of answering. Come with me. I turned back to Mr. Hale. Wait. What did she mean? He only said one sentence. Whatever you hear tonight, don't trust the house. My heart pounded as Martha started walking toward the massive front door, and I realized I had already made the biggest mistake of my life. I hurried after Martha. "Wait," I called. "Mr. Hale just said something impossible." She did not slow down. I heard him. "So explain it. You'll believe me soon." "I'd rather believe you now." She stopped at the front steps and lifted the lantern. "You still have time to leave." I looked behind me. Mr. Hale's car was already disappearing through the rain. "I don't think I do." "No," she said softly. "I suppose you don't." She unlocked the heavy front door. The rusty hinges groaned like something waking from a long sleep. I stepped inside. Dust floated through the cold air. A giant staircase stood in the center of the entrance hall. Long white sheets covered old furniture. Broken paintings leaned against the walls. Yet something felt wrong. The room looked abandoned, but it did not feel empty. I swallowed. "Has anyone been here today?" Martha raised her lantern. "Not today." "What about yesterday?" "No." "Then why do I feel like someone is watching me?" She met my eyes. "Because someone always is." A shiver ran down my back. "You're serious." "I never joke about this house." The front door slammed shut behind me. I spun around. I didn't touch it. "I know." I grabbed the handle and pulled. It would not move. "Martha." She calmly walked toward the door. Without even trying the handle, she said, "It stays closed after sunset." "Open it." "I can't." "You have the key." "The key won't matter now." I stared at her. "You're telling me I'm trapped?" "I'm telling you the house has accepted you." My chest tightened. "This is insane." "You'll say that many times before morning." I took a step back. "I don't believe in haunted houses." "You don't have to." "What does that mean?" "The house believes in you." Silence filled the room. Then. Footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Above us. I looked up so quickly my neck hurt. "Who's upstairs?" Martha's face lost its little color. "No one should be." The footsteps came again. Step. 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 I whispered, "You heard that?" "Yes." "So someone is here." She slowly shook her head. "I hope not." The footsteps stopped. The silence felt even worse. I forced myself to breathe. "This has to be an animal." Martha said nothing. I tried to laugh. "Maybe a raccoon." She still said nothing. Then a child's voice drifted through the house. "Hello." It was faint. Almost playful. My blood turned cold. I looked at Martha. "You heard that too." She closed her eyes. "They've started early tonight." "They?" She opened her eyes again. "You should keep your letter with you." "Why?" "It belongs to the house now." I pulled the folded letter from my pocket. The paper felt warm. That made no sense. A second later, fresh ink slowly appeared across the bottom. I watched the words form one letter at a time. "Welcome home." Chapter 2, The Guests Who Shouldn't Be Here. I stumbled backward and almost dropped the letter. "What is this?" I whispered. The words stayed on the paper as if they had always been there. Martha looked at it but showed no surprise. "It has chosen you." "I don't even know what that means." "You don't need to." "Not yet." "I need answers now." "You'll only find them inside." I laughed bitterly. Everything you say sounds like a warning. Because it is. Before I could argue again, someone pounded on the front door. 3 loud knocks echoed through the hall. I froze. You said the door couldn't be opened. I did. Then who's outside? Martha lifted the lantern. I don't know. Another knock. Open up, a man's voice shouted. Please. Someone answer. I rushed to the door. There are people out there. Martha grabbed my arm. Be careful. I pulled the handle. This time the door opened without any effort. A man in his 30s stumbled inside, soaked from the rain. He was breathing hard. Thank God, he gasped. I thought I'd die out there. He looked at me and frowned. You got the letter too, didn't you? My heart skipped a beat. You did. He reached into his coat and held up an envelope identical to mine. My name's Ethan. I'm Daniel. He glanced around the hall. This place is worse than I imagined. You knew about it? Only what the letter said. Before I could question him further, another voice came from outside. Hold the door. A young woman ran toward us, holding her backpack over her head. She stepped inside, dripping water onto the floor. I thought I was the only one, she said between breaths. I'm Lily. Ethan. Daniel. She gave a nervous smile. So, we're all here for the inheritance. I guess so, I answered. Martha quietly closed the door. The heavy lock clicked into place. Lily noticed. Why did you lock it? Martha simply replied, because no one else is coming. Almost as soon as she spoke, 2 more knocks echoed through the house. Everyone stared at the door. Ethan muttered, You were saying. Martha didn't answer. Instead, she slowly backed away from the entrance, her face filled with fear. I had the terrible feeling that our night was only beginning. The knocking grew louder. Boom. 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 Lily grabbed my arm. Daniel, should we open it? I don't know. Ethan folded his arms. If people are outside, we can't leave them there. Martha whispered, some doors should stay closed. Ethan frowned. Enough with the riddles. He walked toward the entrance. Don't. Martha shouted. He ignored her and unlocked the door. The wind burst inside. Standing on the porch were 3 strangers. The first was a woman in her late 20s wearing a nurse's jacket. I'm Grace, she said, breathing hard. Please tell me I'm not too late. Behind her stood an older man with gray hair. I'm Victor, he said calmly. I received the same letter. The last man wore a worn leather jacket with a backpack slung over one shoulder. He looked at each of us before speaking. My name is Noah. He stepped inside without another word. Ethan shut the door. That's everyone, I hope. Noah looked directly at him. I wouldn't be so sure. The room fell silent. I broke the tension. Did all of you receive inheritance letters? Grace nodded. Mine arrived 3 days ago. Victor pulled his envelope from his pocket. So did mine. Noah held up his letter but didn't let anyone touch it. This is why I'm here. Lily looked around the huge hall. This is getting stranger by the minute. Grace asked, who owns this place? I was told my uncle did, I answered. She frowned. My letter said my aunt left it to me. Victor shook his head. Mine mentioned a cousin. Ethan's confident expression disappeared. That's impossible. It isn't, Noah replied quietly. It means someone lied to us. I stared at the 6 strangers surrounding me. Every one of us had received a different story. Every one of us believed we had come for the same inheritance. Before anyone could speak again, a loud crash echoed upstairs. Glass shattered. Then, a child's laughter drifted through the house. Grace whispered, "Tell me someone else heard that." I did, I admitted. Victor slowly removed a flashlight from his coat. "We're not alone." Noah's eyes never left the staircase. "No," he said in a low voice. "We've never been alone."